Welcome back. Moving forward, we're going to talk about how Agile software practices apply to the DevOps arena. So in this brief lesson, I'm going to demonstrate different Agile methodologies and certain principles that the industry-leading practitioners have put together as an alliance. And we'll take a look at what those principles are. I'm also going to assign you some homework in order to understand these principles because these are self-explanatory. But I'm going to highlight some of the basics and fundamentals just so that you get a better understanding. So, revisiting the Agile Manifesto, we are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we have come to value, and once again, who is this we? We're talking about this Agile Alliance, and you can visit agilemanifesto.org and read everything that you need to know about the Agile methodology. So, a group of Agile industry practitioners have gotten together, they have put their heads down together and really laid down the principles of Agile methodology. So, throughout their experience and their past work, they have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So most focus today, for example, in developing software or writing software apps is on processes and which tool to use. Whereas the real impact has to be on the individuals and interactions among those individuals. So you have a dev team, you have an ops team. So what goes between them is really what counts. So working software is another one, for example, is important over comprehensive documentation. So you can have all the documentation you need, but if the software doesn't work, the documentation is useless, right? Similarly, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So you can have a good contract, but if the customer is not willing to collaborate with you, so for example, your software methodology or the software that you're developing for the customer is not at par, or the customer may be thinking in a different manner. So the written contract would have no value, really. So these first three are important. Then we have the responding to change over following a plan. So typically, obviously, we lay down a plan to develop a certain app or software, to use certain methodology, moving forward into development and production. But guess what? In a practical manner, things change. We live in a dynamic, fluid world, right? People come, people go, minds change, technology changes, and so on. So the response to that change should be taken in a positive manner instead of just sticking to the plan and saying, well, you know, we wrote this and now we're going to follow this, right? So we need to kind of understand that the value of individuals and interactions, working software, customer collaboration, and then responding to change is important. Here are certain principles that are behind the Agile Manifesto. So there are several principles. Obviously the screen is full, right? So I'm not going to go over these. I just want to show you these and highlight certain important ones. For example, welcome changing requirements is the second one down on the left side of the screen that I want to highlight. You can always read on the website on the agilemanifesto.org, or you can take a look at these and kind of go and understand each one of these. And this is your homework, by the way, guys, right? So you need to understand these. You need to take a look, understand what these are, what these principles are, kind of get them in your head, practice. And I welcome the discussions in the discussion area, right? So that's a great way to interact with other students and myself if you need certain clarity. But I'm going to highlight the second one, which is welcoming change requirements, even late in development. And this is fairly common in my experience as well. You're almost done with the software development, and guess what? Well, we need this thing added. So the Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage, because the customer is really looking to gain a competitive advantage while developing this software or software app. So we need to be able to cater to this. The second principle that I think is important in this list is on the right side of the screen, which is Agile processes. They promote a sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. So this is important, and this again comes back to the communication and the interaction among the teams. And this is where DevOps plays a very, very important role in getting all these teams together under one page so that eventually the customer benefits. And you can take a look at the rest of these as we go along. Moving forward with these principles, the highest priority is, of course, to satisfy the customer, because guess what? The customer is always right. And that is, once again, through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. You want to be able to deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to a shorter timescale. Business people and developers, they must work together daily. And I want to stress this word called daily throughout the project. Not weekly, not twice a week, not thrice a week, every single day. Business people, for example, your business analysts and the developers, they must work together daily. The BAs, for example, they need to be able to see the software in action, what the developers make. And then working software is the primary measure of the progress. So the Agile Operations. You need to know the source control, the small and frequent releases is important. Automated testing is an important area. Continuous integration and deployment is part of the Agile Ops. And then peer review and immutable infrastructure. So these are all a list of Agile Ops that I put together. Again, once that is part of the Agile Manifesto that you can take a look at and work with. And finally, the benefits of smaller releases. So the smaller number of releases over time lowers the risk, because these releases they go through the dev process, the QA process, for example, or to the customer just to take a look at when you're in the UAT phase in the project cycle and whatnot. So it lowers the risk, so you can correct and fix things as you go along, instead of developing the entire set of software, handing it over, and then finding out, well, it doesn't work. The other benefit is faster feedback. So small chunks will give you better feedback. And thirdly is more confidence. So developers are more confident that the software is working. So in this lesson, I just wanted to cover some of the principles of Agile and, of course, go through the Agile Manifesto. And don't forget your homework. Go through these principles and put forth your questions in the discussion area for other students and for myself. With this, let's move to the next lesson.